Peanuts. The crunchy little guys that fuel baseball games, bar snacks, and the occasional, oops, I ate the whole jar of peanut butter at 2 a.m. moment. We call them nuts, we roast them like nuts, and we even lump them in with cashews and almonds when we're pretending trail mix is healthy. But here's the kicker. Peanuts aren't nuts. Yeah, I know, it sounds like a bad riddle. When is a nut not a nut? When it's a peanut. So today, let's crack open this mystery and figure out why peanuts got away with an identity crisis that's lasted for centuries. Right here, on History of Food. To get this right, we need to start with what a nut is. Botanically speaking, a true nut has to meet a very specific set of rules. More rules than your HOA probably has about mailbox height. A true nut is a hard-shelled fruit that doesn't split open when it matures. Think acorns, chestnuts, and hazelnuts. Those guys are the real deal. They grow on trees, they've got hard shells, and they fit the botanical definition of a nut. Now, peanuts, they're rule breakers. They don't grow on trees. They don't have a hard shell in the same sense. And, this is the wild part, they grow underground. So botanically, they're not nuts. They're something else entirely. Here's the truth bomb. Peanuts are legumes. Yep, the same category as beans, lentils, and chickpeas, which is hilarious when you think about it, because no one's out there trying to make bean butter or lentil brittle. Legumes grow in pods, usually underground or close to the soil, and split open when they mature. That's exactly what peanuts do. After flowering above ground, the peanut plant sends these little shoots, called pegs, down into the soil, where the peanuts develop in pods. It's like the plant drops off its seeds at an underground daycare and says, "See you in a few weeks." So the next time you're enjoying a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, just remember, you're eating a bean spread. Sounds less appetizing, right? But technically true. All right, so if they're not nuts, why are they called peanuts? Well, it's partly a branding issue. Imagine if we called them ground beans. Doesn't quite scream, "Buy me at the ballpark." The name comes from the fact that they resemble peas in the way they grow, and they sort of look like other nuts in shape and use. So, peanuts stuck. Over time, we just shoved them into the nut aisle and collectively agreed not to think too hard about it. It's like when your friend Dave keeps showing up to your family barbecues. He's not technically part of the family, but he brings good potato salad, so you let him stay. Now, here's the thing. Even though peanuts aren't nuts, we treat them like they are. Culinary definitions are way looser than botanical ones. In the kitchen, a nut is anything small, edible, and kind of crunchy that you can snack on or throw into a cookie recipe. That's why we lump peanuts in with almonds, walnuts, pistachios, and cashews. And yes, before you get too comfortable, a bunch of those aren't true nuts either. Almonds and cashews are seeds. Walnuts? Also not true nuts. The nut aisle at your grocery store is a complete scam by botanical standards. But culinary convenience wins here. If it looks like a nut, tastes like a nut, and makes your dentist sigh, we call it a nut. Peanuts just got honorary membership in the Nut Club. Peanuts have been around a long time. Native to South America, they were first cultivated thousands of years ago by the Incas and other ancient civilizations. Europeans encountered them through trade routes, and eventually peanuts spread around the world. In the US, peanuts became especially popular during the 19th and 20th centuries. Farmers liked them because they're cheap to grow and enrich the soil by adding nitrogen back into it. Consumers liked them because, well, they're delicious and versatile. Fast forward to today. Peanuts are a staple snack, a global crop, and the key ingredient in one of humanity's greatest inventions, peanut butter. I mean, where would we be without peanut butter? Probably eating sad, dry toast. Now, here's where peanuts carved out their legacy. In the late 1800s and early 1900s, peanut butter became a hit in the US. It was marketed as a protein-rich, easy-to-digest food for people who couldn't chew meat. Kind of like protein shakes before protein shakes were a thing. And now, peanut butter is everywhere. Sandwiches, cookies, smoothies, dog treats. It's basically a food group on its own. Legume or not, peanuts won the branding war. Nobody's thinking about lentils when they're dipping celery into peanut butter. Of course, we can't talk about peanuts without mentioning the elephant in the room, or rather, the peanut in the lunchbox: allergies. Peanut allergies are one of the most common food allergies, and they can be extremely serious. This is another thing that makes peanuts stand out from other so-called nuts. While plenty of foods can cause allergic reactions, peanuts are notorious for it, to the point that schools and airlines have had to change policies to protect people. So, ironically, while peanuts are technically beans, they've caused way more chaos than, say, black beans ever have. No one's shutting down flights over a burrito. The peanut story highlights a bigger point. Food labels are often misleading. We call peanuts nuts, even though they're legumes. We call almonds nuts, but they're seeds. We call coconuts nuts, even though they're technically drupes. It's like the entire produce section is playing fast and loose with biology. But maybe that's okay. The scientific definitions are useful for botanists and farmers, but in everyday life, we're more concerned with how something tastes, how we cook with it, and whether it gets stuck in our teeth. Still, it's fun to know the truth. Next time you're at a party and someone casually grabs a handful of peanuts, you can drop the bomb. You know those aren't nuts, right? Will you sound a little pretentious? Sure. But you'll also be technically correct. The best kind of correct. If we want to be accurate, peanuts should probably be called ground legumes, or maybe bean nuts. But honestly, the marketing just isn't there. Imagine ordering a ground legume butter and jelly sandwich. No thanks. The name peanut is here to stay, even if it makes botanists grind their teeth. It's just one of those quirks of language, like how hamburger doesn't contain ham, or how koala bear isn't a bear. Humans are messy namers. We go for vibes, not accuracy. So, why aren't peanuts considered nuts? Because science says so. They're legumes, members of the same family as beans and lentils. But culturally and culinarily, we've decided they're nuts. And honestly, they've earned their place at the nut table. They're versatile, beloved worldwide, and they gave us peanut butter, arguably one of the greatest comfort foods ever invented. Sure, they might be living a lie, but it's a delicious lie. Thank you for watching.